Hello guys, so if you've just watched my video that I've just made a second ago, which will be on the internet by the time this one's on the internet, then you will know that I'm making it on my laptop because my phone is absolutely fucked. Yeah, I said I would stop that last video and make a new one so I can carry on talking, but obviously I'm going to go into a different topic rather than talking about the political things which I was talking about in the last video, and yeah. So here we go. Trying to find inner peace and calmness and stillness and how to perhaps live a good life. This is something I've been doing recently or trying to do anyway, and it's been working. And one way I've been doing that is subconscious reprogramming, in my sleep. Which is pretty much where you put this on, and it's like a binaural beats soundtrack in the background, and then it's got like this voice, like a person talking. It's like doing I am affirmations, like I am confident, I am successful, I can do this, so basically it's feeding that into your head all night long for as long as you're sleeping, and obviously that's going to make some big differences in the way you're perceiving the reality in the world, because and your belief systems, because your belief systems are just thoughts that you regularly practice. So if you're putting that sort of content into your mind on a night, then it's going to have a big effect. And I've definitely noticed it. I just obviously, it doesn't make you happy all the time, but it definitely gives you perhaps the leeway to have a better perspective on life. And I definitely noticed that. Also, I've been a lot more motivated recently. I'm enjoying college because I'm seeing it in a different perspective, because nothing's objectively true. The whole reality and everything that's going on around us is simply just a reflection of what's going on within ourselves. So when we're looking outside of us, we're just as eyes looking outside of us, outside of this vessel, which is our body. And so when I look at, like, let's say a banana or something like that, I'm actually seeing inside my head. I'm not actually seeing what this banana actually looks like in itself, because it's been processed through filters, and before this, like, as this banana hits the back of my retina, it actually hits it upside down, the light. I don't know how neuroscientists or like how they realize that, but yeah. It's so freaking weird, like everything, like it feels like I've just been like born again into the world. It's all like a psychedelic trip, but just all the time. I keep having like these, like, I want to say spiritual experiences, but I'm not sure I'll go that far. But yeah, it's pretty much just where I can just sit and completely be in the present moment and not like want to resist it at all. And it's like I get this overwhelming sense of peace and serenity in my psyche and in my body, and it just feels really good. And yeah, I've just been getting that, like, just a lot. Like I can be doing the most mundane activity on planet Earth, and I'll just start feeling like it's just the most beautiful thing ever. And it's a very nice experience. It's like I'm on a different level of consciousness, and it's not in a superior way at all. It's just different. It's just nice. It's just something that perhaps I used to experience, but I sort of let slip because I just made some bad decisions. Well, I don't want to say bad decisions. I just said decisions that perhaps didn't serve me throughout my life, and now I'm trying to get back on that path, the path of least resistance, so I can really utilize this life and make something of it. It's like today when I got off the bus, I went in the car, bought a protein bar, and I went and sat on the bench and read for a little bit, and yeah, and then I remember sitting after I read, and I was just listening to nature, but I could hear the cars in the background, so I was thinking maybe this is messing with my subconscious a little bit. I kind of want to be like even further in nature. So what I did was I carried on walking, but it was so strange because, like, we're always in a rush to get places, and we're always focused on the destination. We never actually pay much attention to the journey, and today I decided to change that. Because I figured if my body's moving fast, and if I'm trying to get somewhere that I'm not already at, then my mind's going to be somewhere it's not already at. I'm constantly going to be chasing the next moment, and chasing the next hour, and chasing the next destination. And I pretty much tried to escape that today. And it did take a little bit of time, but because I remember I was in this like strange mindset, and everything just felt different. It was just like I was looking around. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't like, whoa, this is magical. But it just all felt still and dull. But not dull. Like dull's not the right word. It was like it was a nice experience, but it wasn't like anything super duper profound. It was like I was walking through this field, and I just remember everything feeling different. And as I was walking up the steps, this was before I got to the field. As I was walking up the steps from the bench, I remember I just stopped and I looked up the steps. And I never do this. I always just carry on walking to the top of the steps. And sometimes I even run to the top of the steps. But yeah, I just stopped for a minute and I looked up. And I was trying to get a new perspective. And I definitely got it. Like, I've never truly like stopped and just like really took it all in. Like everything, all the small details were just so apparent. And just, yeah, I just felt like I was just one with everything, but it didn't feel super spiritual. It just felt like I was there, but I could feel a little bit of resistance maybe, and that's why I wasn't feeling super spiritual. Yeah. So anyway, I carry on walking up the steps. I get to the field, and I remember standing there, and I had the realization that everything's in our head, because I was looking around and like, it was just so weird. Like I was looking at the grass, and it was a very big field, and everything was just like, it just felt like it was flowing. Like oh, that went light. It just felt like it was flowing, which it probably was in the wind, but it was like a different sort of flowing. It was more like a psychedelic drug, like when you're coming off of a psychedelic drug and you're on the come down, and everything's just sort of like waving, breathing a little bit. Sort of like that, and I pretty much experienced that all the time, but I guess I just became like hyper conscious of it. Is that a word? Just it really came to my mind. Like I'm not sure if I really liked the state of mind I was in at that time, but I was doing my best just to accept it, and basically the process of my acceptance of the situation was to stop in the middle of the field, stand and just look around me and just try and take it all in, taking all the nature, taking everything. But I still felt in like maybe a little bit of an iffy place, somewhere I didn't particularly want to be. So yeah, I carried on walking and I got to the allotment, and there were some chickens, and this is sort of when it like changed. Like I was just watching the chickens, and I was like, the thought came into my head that we're never alone, and it was just so weird. It was like I was observing their behaviour, I guess, and there was a chicken. It was black and white, and it didn't look like a regular chicken, but it was with the chickens. So maybe it was like a foreign chicken or something. I was like, it's so funny. It was just there, like trying to bite its back and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it just made me like smile a little bit. And then there was the cockerel. And then there was like a lot of female chickens, and the cockerel was stood there like straight up, like, you know, like being all masculine and stuff, like because obviously he's got to impress the lady chickens. And I was like comparing them to humans, because chickens are just a product of evolution, just like we are. And I guess it just, I don't know, sparked my curiosity a little bit as to whether chickens, like, how similar are they to us? Like, obviously they're pretty dissimilar in the way that they can't use logic and reason to figure things out. But, they've probably got some other core processes going on in their brains, which are, at the bare minimum, similar to ours. Well, similar to ours at when we strip all of our human essence down to its core. So it just made me think about life a little bit. So anyway, I carried on walking, and I was just walking at my regular pace, and then like I was looking around. I was like, it was so beautiful. It's like a pathway, and then like trees going up either side like that, and then like sort of like meeting at the top like this. So it's like an archway of trees along this path, and yeah, I walk down it a lot, but generally when I walk, I'll just like look at the floor, look around. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. It's alright. But today I decided to walk literally like just like that, like completely slow, like what would normally be a 5 minute walk probably took me about 20 minutes just because I didn't want to rush. I was just taking my time, then I'd stop and I'd look at the leaves really close up, and then I'd like try and take in all the surroundings. And yeah, it just felt really beautiful. And I think it was the chickens that sort of changed my consciousness. Like obviously it wasn't the chickens because it was my mind. Like something happened within my mind, but I guess the chickens were the catalyst to setting off the thoughts, which then changed my consciousness. Yeah, or altered my consciousness. So I carry on walking slowly, and there's like no people around at this point, and I'm just like looking around. I'm like, just like in awe at everything. Like it felt like I'd never seen it before, and it was quite like a misty day. Like maybe not misty, but it's like, you know, when the sky's not blue, but it's not particularly cloudy. It's just like a grey, like a really light white grey. Yeah, it was just like that, just all white and grey. And yeah, I remember walking and like another one of the thought patterns I had was I was looking at the grass, and I was like looking at the trees and looking at some of the birds just flying through the sky. And obviously there's something for me to focus on there. Like I'm able to pick an object and focus on it. But when you're looking up into the sky, you're not able to focus on anything because, well, like what do you focus on? It's space. It's mostly just space. Like literally for like millions and billions of miles, it's just space. It's like, I don't know how to explain this. So basically, when I look up in the sky, I see like white things floating around, or little silver things, and I get the same when I look at a white wall as well. It's like all these little silver flies like floating around and dashing about, and it just seems like it's like flashing or something. And I think that's my mind's way of compensating for actually not seeing anything but space. Yeah, so obviously I create up these things, and maybe it's something to do with psychedelics, or maybe most humans do experience this, but they're never consciously aware of it. They never like put much attention or focus onto it because it's just like, it's just the sky. What else? What do you want me to do about it? Yeah, I think the way you see the world says a lot about your personality, and the way you interpret it, and the way you talk about it, and the way, I don't know, I guess the way you view it. Because, like, the way you view the things external to you is, I guess, the way you view yourself. Because, well, like I said earlier, when you're viewing the external world, it's all these different thought processes are going on, and it's going through a filtering system within your brain based on previous experiences and the way your neurons are aligned and things like that. So, yeah, we're always looking at the world through a lens, and we're never actually seeing it. I heard something. It's my dog. We're never actually seeing it as it actually is, because or are we? Like, is that possible? Like, when we meditate, is that when we're seeing the world as it actually is? Like, when I was walking extremely slowly, that's how I felt like that. I felt like I was meditating. It was definitely a meditation because, like, my mind was, I don't know. It's like, you know, when you just get into that peaceful state where you're completely, like, at peace with everything. That's pretty much how it felt. And my mind was quiet, and I was acceptant of everything. I think acceptant is a word. It is now. Yeah, so yeah. And then so I carried on walking, and I saw a few people, and I was like, well, you can either be asocial about this stuff, or you can be a social human being and actually say hello. So I said hello to a few people. I complimented someone's tractor, which was nice. Yeah. Climbed a tree, stayed up there for a little while. I actually played in the tree for a bit. I was like trying to get to different places where I've never been before. And I've noticed like a difficult path I could try and get to in the tree, like perhaps it was like a little bit higher up, or just like there wasn't many branches leading to it, so I had to really like try and figure out how to get there. And I found that everything's possible if you just don't give up. Like, because like I was at one part of the tree and I looked at another part, I was like, no, I won't be able to get over there. But anyway, so I tried to get to another part of the tree, and when I got to this other part of the tree, I realised, okay, I can get to that part of the tree that I originally wanted to get to from here. So, yeah, I guess there isn't always like one path to the place you're going. Like, and don't always just think just because the first path that you were going to take didn't work out, that there isn't another way that you could have gone. Yeah. I also like to type around this fence. It's like that thick or something. And yeah, I struggle with that today for some reason. I don't quite know why, but it might be because I did so much running yesterday, and the day before I did 3K the day before. Yesterday I ran for the bus. I ran from the Priory back to college so I could get my friends some dinner and then back, and I just did a lot of freaking running. Maybe it's because my muscles and my legs are tired or something, and yeah, I probably should have a bit of a break. I just pretty much after that, I just was walking around and I was just feeling extremely good, really happy, and yeah, just enjoying life. I had a good philosophy lesson as well earlier. We were talking about knowing things, and it was quite interesting that we actually had this lesson because the day before, when I was at the Priory with Darcy and my other friend, we were talking about I brought it up just from my consciousness, like when do you actually know something, or when do you actually know someone? Because and I used this analogy of the song, because do you know a song when you've heard the song once, or do you know a song when you know the ins and outs of it? And I might have already said this in one of my videos, but yeah, like do you know a song when you know all the lyrics and when you can sing them off by heart, and when you like you're completely like that with the song, or do you know a song when you've just heard it once? I guess knowing is a spectrum, so like there's like knowing extremely well and knowing not so well, and then there's all the space in between. And also knowing is it's not just like one type of knowledge, because I guess there's a knowing like which is logical, which is like 1 + 1 = 2, and obviously that's universal knowing, that's always going to be true. But then there might be another kind of knowing, which is like when you get maybe close to a person, and it's not just the name, because I guess that's just a logical knowing again, but it's like a deeper emotional knowing. It's like you know the ins and outs of this person, and you just know them on a deeper level, and yeah. And we also link that question to God, like the difference between knowing God and knowing of God. And obviously, like, I'm not a Christian, and I don't class myself as religious, but I do have my own ideas of God, and I think God is essentially everything. God's like where God, the flowers are God. I say flowers because there's flowers here. Yeah. Just pretty much everything's just God. And all the beautiful experiences you have. And I think, like I was describing earlier, when you feel like completely one with things, and you notice the sun hitting the water, and you're just walking through nature, and you just feel this like oneness to everything. I think that's God. And that's obviously knowing God, but knowing of God could be like, you could be an outsider taking a look into a religion, and then you just see all these people bowing down to this, what you think is a man in the sky, and you're like, oh, well, they're praying to God, but you don't actually know what the true essence of this God is. Yeah, so, but I don't believe in the God in the Christian sense, I don't believe in God in the Muslim sense or any of that, but perhaps the closest God I would believe in is maybe Buddhism, but still, yeah, I just like to have my own interpretation of God. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. I've covered a lot of topics and I've talked for like 20 minutes straight, so I still don't know my tea either. It's like, 8 o'clock. I stayed out for like 2 hours after getting the bus. 2.5 hours. Half 4, half 5, half 6. 7. Yeah, 2.5 hours. Yeah, so that's all I want to say. If you enjoyed this video, then give a thumbs up. Put any comments down in the comment section and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.